If you grew up in New Zealand, chances are you didn't just know Edmonds, you used Edmonds in school kitchens, in church halls, on benches dusted in flour, and sitting quietly on the shelf of almost every Kiwi home, the Edmonds Cookery Book. But Edmonds didn't start as an empire, it started as a problem. In 1879, a young English grocer named Thomas John Edmonds arrived in Christchurch and opened a small shop in Linwood. Customers kept complaining that imported baking powder was unreliable. So Thomas did something simple and revolutionary. He spent 3 years experimenting in the back of his store, trying to make a baking powder that actually worked. When he finally sold his first 200 tins, they moved slowly. So he travelled around Canterbury, handing out free samples, promising refunds if they didn't rise. None were returned, and when a doubtful customer asked if it would work, Thomas replied, "It is sure to rise, madam." A slogan and a promise was born. By 1912, Edmonds had sold over 1 million tins. By 1929, nearly 3 million tins a year were moving through a country of just 1.5 million people. In the early days, empty tins were even recycled into Christchurch roads. Edmonds wasn't just growing, it was becoming part of daily life. In 1908, the company released the first sure-to-rise cookery book, a small practical booklet filled with affordable recipes using Edmonds products. It was often given away free with baking powder. Couples wrote in asking for copies. Engaged women were gifted one as part of preparing for married life. Over time, it became New Zealand's best-selling book ever, with more than 4 million copies sold. It survived wars, rationing, gas ovens, microwaves, metric conversion, and generations of handwritten notes in the margins. And looming over it all was the Edmonds factory. Built in 1922 on Ferry Road in Woolston, Christchurch, the factory became a landmark. Its famous "Sure to Rise" sign watched over the city, surrounded by prize-winning gardens and tropical hothouses that were open to the public. From 1955, the factory itself appeared on the cover of the Cookery Book, a symbol of trust and domestic pride. But even icons change. Edmonds remained family-owned until 1984, when it was sold to Brierley Investments during the corporate raiding era. Soon after, ownership passed to Goodman Fielder, where the brand still sits today. Production and administration were gradually shifted to Auckland in the early 1980s. The Christchurch factory fell silent. In October 1990, despite public protest and heritage outcry, the Ferry Road factory was demolished. Many saw it as the loss of a national landmark. Part of the gardens were later saved by the Christchurch City Council and still exist today. Maintained by volunteers, a quiet reminder of what once stood there. Through all this, the brand endured. The Edmonds Cookery Book continued to evolve, adding photos, spiral binding, metric measurements, microwave sections, while sparking regular debate about missing recipes and changed flavours. Some products have been discontinued over the years, including parts of the pastry range in 2023, blamed on rising costs. But Edmonds never collapsed, it never disappeared, and it never stopped being used. Today, Edmonds remains a cornerstone of Kiwi kitchens. Corporate owned, yes, but culturally embedded in a way few brands ever achieve. Because Edmonds didn't just sell baking powder, it taught a country how to bake, and for generations of New Zealanders, that promise still echoes every time something goes into the oven. So tell me, do you still use Edmonds or have your grandma's old cookbook in the cupboard? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And as always, stay curious.